Well, hello everybody and welcome to another video tutorial. My name is Peter Drakulic and today I'm gonna show you how you can start modeling a helmet. In this video tutorial we're going to talk about how we can get a rather uh, interesting topology or geometry for modeling later on for adding detail to our helmet. So in this video tutorial we're not gonna be using a reference image. All we need is for me to explain you the concept behind. So if I tab into edit mode, you can see that we have the general idea of how we want to model our helmet, and the basic idea is that I need to have some loops, which are, if I'm enabling the grease pencil, and I'm gonna show you, I need to have this loop here, right, for sharpening purposes later on. I need to have, of course, that kind of loops here, right, you can see, and I need to have a central loop here, which is usually a hole opening, an opening that is found in most of the helmets, and also a loop down here because I need it for sharpening purposes. And then I want to have those radial loops around the opening, as you can see. Various loops, like that, like that, like that, and one loop that goes that way. Okay, so you have a general idea of how we're going to start modeling our helmet, at least for getting the basic geometry. So I'm going ahead and I'm deleting this grease pencil layer, and we want to start all the way from the start. So let me start with a brand new scene. Okay, so let me move our cube to another layer, switch over to the side view by pressing 3 on numpad, and if needed press 5 on numpad so you get to the orthographic view. Now we're going to be adding a circle, mesh circle, and set the number of vertices to 8. Okay, and now tab into edit mode and just rubber band or border select those 3 vertices and go ahead and delete those vertices. Right, now so now we are left with 5 vertices. Switch over to the side view, select all of them, place your cursor somewhere here, and then go over here to the mesh tool panel and find the tool that is called spin. So let's add some spin to our vertices. So we have this arc. Don't worry about the exact position of the arc. Just set the number of steps to 5 and the angle to something like 180 degrees. Now we can always play around by moving this arc up and down by sliding those sliders here, right, as Z and Y, okay, and adjusting the center of the arc. So I'm sliding a little bit the slider of Y-axis, so I'm getting something like so, right? Now switch over to the front view, and I want to press Z, so I'm getting to the wireframe view mode. I'm deselecting all the vertices and press B to border select those vertices, and I'm pressing X to delete them. So I am left with just half of the vertices. So switch back to the side orthographic view, press Z to go to the solid view mode. Alright, and now let us create some geometry here. Alright, first of all I need to select those 3 vertices over here, and I want to extrude them. Okay, creating actually the back, okay, of the helmet. And then I want to add somewhere here, I want to add that hole that is very, very common in many kind of helmets. So I'm gonna selecting a vertex. I am going to shift deduplicate it, bring it somewhere here, and then I need to press E to extrude it a few times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 times. So I have a total of 8 vertices, and select those vertices and press F to connect them. Alright, so I'm selecting by pressing Ctrl L the connected geometry, and I'm pressing S to scale it a little bit down, and I move it somewhere here. Alright, and now what I need to do is to start adding some geometry here. So I'm selecting, let's say, those 4 vertices, and I'm pressing F to fill them with a face. Those 4 here, and I'm pressing F. Each time you need to move some vertex, you can either press G or GG or even Shift V, so you can move it, you can slide the vertex, as you will call it. Alright, so, but for the moment it's not that important, this one. Okay, so now I want to keep filling with faces. Alright, my geometry here. Alright, let me select those, and I'm filling them as well, and I'm going to add a lookup somewhere here. Alright, because I need to, you can see here a triangle. I'm going to fill this face, and then I'm shift clicking this vertex here, and I'm pressing F, so I have created a a quad here. Okay, so now I want to select those 3 vertices, and I'm pressing F to make yet another face, a quad, and then I'm selecting those 2 vertices of the triangle, sorry, and I want to extrude them downwards somewhere here. I want to align them by pressing SZ0, and then I want to add a lookup somewhere here, and the reason for the lookup here is that I'm going to select those 2 vertices here, and I'm going to extrude them that way. Okay, and this is going to be the side of my helmet. I'm moving them somewhere here. I'm adding 2 loop cuts here. I'm Control Tab switching over to the face select mode, select this face in the middle, and I'm going to switch over to the normal coordinate system for this face by pressing Alt spacebar. Normal, and now I move it a little bit along the normal y-axis, or the normal z-axis rather, so I have made this something like that. Of course, I'm taking care of the shape a little bit, so it's more, looking like a helmet. Alright, but we can work on that later on, don't worry about that. I'm switching back to the side view, and now I want to continue filling my geometry here. And as if you remember, I told you that I want to create a basic loop here. I want it to be something like that. So I have this loop for sharpening purposes. But if I press Ctrl R and I'm trying to add a loop here, you can see it does work. And the reason for that is that I have this triangle here. So what I need to do is to go ahead and select this vertex over here, and I want to press V and split the vertex. So now I have made yet another vertex. I have 3 vertices here. I'm selecting them, press F to fill them, and then shift click this 4th vertex, and I want to press F to join those triangles into a quad. The same goes here, because if you now try to add a loop here, you can see it does work. The loop goes all the way down. So I need to select also this vertex and split this up. But first I need to go ahead and get the knife tool by pressing K on numpad, and I want to add a cut here. Alright, enter to confirm the cut. And now I want to convert this triangle here into a quad by selecting this vertex, pressing V to split this vertex, and then I want to fill those 3 vertices. Be aware, here we have 2 vertices here, so I need to select both of them, Alt M, and I want to join them, alright, to merge them to the cursor. So now I want to fill those 3 vertices by selecting them and pressing F to fill them with a face, and then Shift click this vertex, F. So I now have made yet another quad. Now if I try to check my loop, you can see Ctrl R, and I have this kind of loop, which is exactly what I was going for. Right, let me continue adding some geometry, and then I'm going to change this geometry, of course, but for the moment I need to add some more faces here and there. Alright, so as you can see now, I have this kind of loop loops here. Well, I don't like this loop. As you can see, it goes all the way down. I need this for this loop to go that way. So I'm going to fix it in just a moment, as you're going to see. All right, but the general idea is that I need to add some more geometry. So why not? I'm selecting, let's say, those two vertices. Just a moment first, I need to move this to slide this vertex a little bit. Oh, yes, I need to first add a lookup here and connect those two vertices. You can see, selecting them, pressing Alt-M at last. So I have joined those two vertices. Okay, now what I need to do is to select those vertices here, those four, and I need to press F to fill them. Don't worry about the geometry right now. We're going to fix it by using the knife tool in just a while. And I'm quickly filling in the rest of the faces. All right, and don't worry, they are not quads, I know, but we're going to get the geometry we need in just a while. All right, let me see now what we have here. We have controller. We check the various loops. We have something like that, We need a loop, as I told you before, that goes that way, down here. All right, and I'm going to make this in just a while. But first, let me fix the geometry here. So what I need to do is to go ahead, Control Tab, select this edge here, Control E, excuse me, and rotate edge a few times clockwise. So now I've got this loop here, as you can see. All right. I've also got that loop over there, as you can see. All right. Maybe it's not that obvious, the geometry here, so I need to move a little bit. All right, to give it a more fluid shape. But in order for you to move the vertices the right way, just prefer to click GG or Shift V, for example, so you can slide them. So you get the idea. All right, and that always depends upon, of course, the geometry of the particular helmet you are modeling. I mean, there are helmets that have a crease somewhere here or other creases, but you get the general idea. Okay, so continuing with my loops, the next thing I want to do is to select this loop, and I want to extrude it a little bit. So I'm creating that, and this is an easy way for getting this lookup here. So next thing I want to do is that I need to make a loop that goes that way, goes down here. Okay, let me show you how you can do this. All right, first of all, I'm switching over to the knife tool, excuse me, and I'm adding some geometry here. All right, and then I need to, of course, hit Enter, and then I need to add some geometry also here. All right, so now let me see what we've got here. First of all, I need to connect those vertices into a quad, and then I have this loop here, I have that loop here, I have that one, and of course I want to also add this loop over here, and I want to connect by pressing J, hit J to connect any two vertices that are already connected through a face, but they are not connected themselves, so hit J to connect those vertices as well. Now let me see how my geometry goes. Of course, I can always check my loops here, and I think in general I have my loop here, very important, that one. I have that one here, over there, okay. I have that one, and the only problem that I have now is probably this triangle here. So the way for doing that is by adding yet another cut somewhere here. So let me show you. Take the knife tool, cut this face over here, all right? And I need also to connect those two faces, so I'm pressing F. I want to have this kind of geometry here, and of course I don't need those two faces, I guess, so I'm switching over to the vertex select mode and just merging those faces here. Alright, so now I have this kind of geometry here. Alright, okay, I have this loop here, I have that loop, that one. Alright, now for the hole, for the opening here, I'm alt right clicking, selecting all the vertices, and I'm pressing E to extrude them. scale them down a little bit. Alright, so I have this kind of geometry here, and then I'm going to use this loop here. Let me show you this loop, that loop here, you can see, in order to add some sharpness to my geometry later on when I'm going to apply the subdivision surface modifier, right? So we have something like so, which doesn't look that bad. And another thing you need to do is to select all the faces by pressing A, Control N to recalculate the normals outside. Very, very important, that one. And then all you need to do is to go ahead and apply from the modifiers context over here, add the modifier, mirror modifier to our helmet. You can see it's very narrow for the moment. So I'm enabling the clipping option, you can see here. And then I'm tabbing into edit mode and I'm selecting all the vertices and I'm moving them a little bit so I can give it some, you can always add some look here if you need, okay, and you can, if you need, but I don't see the reason for the moment. So we have something like so, right, and of course another good idea will be to select all the vertices and press W and remove doubles. Sometimes you have some doubles and things like that. Another thing you need to do is to deselect all the vertices, Ctrl-Shift-Alt-M, and check for any non-manifold geometry. But it's okay, as I can see, because only those border vertices here are non-manifold, which is normal. Okay. So now next thing I want to do is to go ahead and add the subdivision surface modifier. Add the subdivision surface modifier, tab out edit mode, smooth the geometry, and now we have this not bad looking, helmet. So that was our tutorial for today. I showed to you how you can get the basic geometry. Of course, you can have a particular helmet that you need to model, and something might change. You might need to add different kind of loops and to give them a different direction, but the general idea is that this basic geometry seems to work. So now, in our next tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can create the depth for this helmet, the inner side of the helmet, by using the geometry we have already created for the outside, for the exterior side of the helmet. Okay. And so, see you in the next part of this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you learned something from this. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time with an interesting, hopefully, topic. Until then, have fun and goodbye.